Let me ask you something. Have you ever looked around at your life, the job, the friends, the comfort, the scrolling, and wondered, why does none of this feel like it means anything? Have you ever laughed at a joke, nodded through a conversation, smiled for a photo, while feeling a quiet emptiness humming in the background, like you're living someone else's life? Like your soul is screaming through a glass wall, but no one hears. If so, you're not broken, you're not alone, you're simply waking up. There's a strange kind of suffering that comes not from poverty or pain, but from plenty, from the numb comfort of a world that gives you everything except meaning. We're told, get good grades, get a job, buy things, look attractive, be liked, die quietly. And somewhere in the margins of that script, we were supposed to find purpose. But deep down, you know that was a lie, because you're not hungry for success, you're starving for significance. Psychologists call it existential void. Nietzsche called it the abyss. Blaise Pascal described it as the God-shaped vacuum inside every person. It's the feeling of having everything and still being haunted by a sense that something is missing. And what's worse, you can't even name it. Because no one ever taught us to seek depth, only distraction. We were trained to keep scrolling, keep moving, keep numbing. But you can't outrun a question your soul is still trying to ask. And here's the uncomfortable truth. You don't feel empty because your life is hard. You feel empty because you've been living in a shallow story. Let's go deeper. Our culture has traded meaning for mechanism. We no longer ask, why am I here? We ask, what can I consume next? Plato warned us about this in his Allegory of the Cave, a story of people mistaking shadows for reality, never knowing they were chained away from the truth. Today, our chains are not iron. They're made of comfort, content, and conformity. We're prisoners in a cave of comparison, conditioned by algorithms and approval. We chase validation, not virtue, efficiency, not essence, performance, not presence. But somewhere inside you, there's still a whisper. This can't be all there is. And that whisper, that's the part of you that refuses to die quietly. Philosopher Dietrich Bonhoeffer once said, being a Christian is less about cautiously avoiding sin than about courageously and actively doing God's will. Even if you're not religious, the core truth stands. You were not made for passive survival. You were made to live deliberately, to stare into the void and create meaning anyway. That's not easy. It means confronting the parts of yourself you've ignored. It means letting go of the easy answers. It means realizing that you can live an entire life and still miss the point. There's a myth we all carry, that later will be different. Later you'll finally be happy. Later you'll chase that dream. Later you'll fix the relationship. Later you'll slow down. But later is the biggest lie you've ever believed. Life doesn't wait for you to be ready. Your calling doesn't send calendar invites. Every day you delay is a page you'll never rewrite. Machiavelli once said, the opportunity of defeating the enemy is provided by the enemy himself. The enemy here is your own avoidance, and it gives you opportunity every time you feel that emptiness and look away. But what if, just once, you didn't? What if you stared it down? You see, your emptiness isn't a flaw, it's a signal. It means you're still capable of feeling, still capable of wanting more than what society told you to want, still capable of searching for truth, not just trends. The people who never feel this, they're the ones who've drowned their soul in noise for so long they've forgotten it ever spoke. But you're still listening. So what do you do with all of this? First, you stop outsourcing your definition of success. Stop living a life that looks good but feels dead. Start asking dangerous questions, the kind that tear holes in the surface of your life and reveal the sky beyond. Who am I when no one's watching? What would I do if I wasn't afraid of being misunderstood? What if I'm not here to be safe, but to be transformed? This is where philosophy meets practice. Nietzsche said, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how, but that why won't be handed to you. It must be fought for, in stillness, in suffering, in silence." Sometimes your purpose won't feel like a lightning strike. It will feel like a gentle nudge in the dark, a quiet decision to show up, even when you're tired, to speak truth, even when your voice shakes, to become, even when the world says, just be like everyone else. One day, someone will ask you what your life was about. Maybe not with words, maybe with a look or a question from a child, or your own reflection in the mirror. And in that moment, you'll remember that the ache you felt, the longing, the questions, the emptiness, it wasn't a curse. It was the beginning of awakening, of meaning, of you. So I'll ask you again, why do you feel empty, even when life is good? Maybe it's because you're finally ready to start living for something more, not for comfort, not for applause, but for truth. Do not go where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path, and leave a trail. Ralph Waldo Emerson.